I've been involved in pool since the late 70s as a player on the West Coast years ago. I met all the big names and I fell in love with the game. You've seen the hustler, the colour of money. You've heard the names, Minnesota Fats, Willie Mosconi. These are the days of personality-led sport that reminds me in some ways of the old snooker tour. They weren't necessarily very good, but they all had massive personalities. But then we started doing events at Matchroom. Emily was made in charge of all that division. And Mosconi Cup's been a huge success for us. Sold out on both sides of the Atlantic. Ryder Cup feel, vibrant audiences. And other events have done well. World Pool Masters, World Cup of Pool, World Pool Championships. But then we looked at it and said, this sport's never really going to go to where we think it can go unless there's enough investment to create enough opportunities to inspire players to carry on playing, to improve, and to start playing. So Emily and I have put together this massive 40 tournament schedule. I'm not saying we're the flavour of the month with the local associations, but frankly, they're very happy to do their little job locally, but they don't have the ability to do what we can do, which is to commercialise the sport and give the players prize money where it can change their lives.
What do you think could happen if you and Eddie set up on the pool table then, Barry? Still show him how it's done, or?
I'm not so sure. He plays a little bit of pool. Being the type of bloke he is, he likes crash bang wallop, He smashes the ball so hard, sometimes I think they're going to break. But when it gets down to the nitty gritty, I think old Father Time has been kind to me in that department. So for once, I might actually hold my own on that one, but we'll see. I'm sure it won't be too long before Emily organises a YouTube special of one leg of 9-ball, me against Eddie. And we're all frightened of Emily, so we're not going to disagree. We'll just do what we're told.
No, that's the one. I think that's the one that we all want to see as well. And it's interesting that we're on the topic of Matchroom and Matchroom being, one of one and doing incredible things at the moment in multiple sports. There's been a lot of talk, Barry, about Matchroom investment recently, about Eddie maybe wanting to go down the UFC model for boxing in terms of Matchroom. So is this exciting times now for Matchroom, not just in general?
Yeah, this is the one that's a little bit under the radar because it's so new. But those people with a brain, I think if those early shareholders of the PDC understand what I'm saying. In the words of the street, they bang at it off, because you've got to believe in what we're doing because we're so passionate and we believe what we're doing. But it doesn't. That's just talk. What we're talking about here is look at the numbers. Matchroom has grown enormously over a few years. I think it's benefited British sport. I think it's benefited British sportsmen and women, and it's made Matchroom money. And the reason why we make money is because we become sustainable. We are independent. So when COVID comes along, we did more events during COVID than we normally do because we saw an opportunity. And we delivered, and we kept people in work because and we kept us in work. It's a relationship that has to work for everybody. 9-ball pool's come along, and whereas Eddie's made the boxing huge, and the UFC model is Eddie's model because Eddie's plans, obviously, is to be a global boxing promoter. Eddie's not a British boxing promoter. He's from England, and he's British, and he's a boxing promoter, but he's much more than that. And there's vision there. And some partners and friends of ours that share that vision is, Dana White's model of UFC is Eddie Hearn's model of boxing. The snooker model is expanding China, Southeast Asia rapidly, but making good progress in Europe. So there's another way forward. The darts, we launched an event in Warsaw last week. On the Monday, we went on sale. We sold 9,000 tickets in an hour in Warsaw. We didn't have any tickets. We sold out. We didn't have any tickets for general sale. So we know we absorb data. And then from that data, we work out a plan of how we can commercialise better. And we've done the same thing with 9-ball pool. We've looked at a sport like I looked at darts 15 years ago and said, all I smell is money. Why hasn't this happened? And the answer is, because no one actually has the intellect or the ability They're selfish in their little world. They don't want to open to the rest of the world, whereas we only want the whole world. So whereas the boxing is doing what it's doing, the snooker, the darts, is the little secret squirrel was out there. Suddenly we've come across another unbelievable opportunity for us and for the people that play and watch 9-ball ball. And it's a relationship that only exists, like Rockefeller once said, every deal that's concluded where both sides end up with a bit of bread in their mouth is a good deal. So you don't get selfish, you grow the sport and you will do better at it. The players support us and they know they will do better at it. So it's quite selfishly led, but it's for the common good. And an opportunity like this is enough to get me out of bed in the morning. I can tell you, sometimes at my age, it's quite tempting to turn over. But I daren't do that because Emily would probably tell me off, you know.
No, it sounds very exciting, and you seem bang up for it as well. I'm conscious that I'm running out of time. I just want to squeeze in one boxing question, if that's all right, Barry. I just wanted to ask you about Anthony Joshua's recent return. Obviously, we've seen that he's not going to be fighting now till December. What did you make of his return, and how exciting is the future of Anthony Joshua for you as well?
Well, firstly, I think there's been a few misquotes about he's not boxing till December. He's thinking about not boxing till December, but he's sometimes, and I love Anthony, but he's on holiday at the moment, right? He's having a good time. He spends his life in training camps. When you're having a good time, you like to carry on having a good time. But I know Anthony a bit better than that. So don't be surprised. I wouldn't be 100% surprised to see a U-turn on that. But the fight was successful in as far as the job was done. I don't think it was the best Anthony Joshua that I've seen by a long way. But I think there were improvements, and there's obviously some big mental issues to get over, which we all know. And we ask ourselves now, are we with him on his journey? Absolutely yes. So I'm not going to criticise him. I'm going to understand him. There is a lot going on in the heavyweight division, some amazing bullshit as well by lots of people. But I suppose that's boxing generally, you know. But it was a good step forward. I would love to see him have 1 or 2 more steps forward, but that's his decision. He's a 34-year-old grown man. He lives his life in a training camp, you know. People have opinions sometimes about boxers having never experienced the type of life they live. So I give the decision to Anthony, but he's quite a sensible boy. He knows he has a plan, and I believe he has the way back to his best days. But I might be biased because I like him a lot. I'm not apologising for that. You know, I like people that give me 100%. And with Joshua, I've never had less. So whatever he wants to do, we'll be in his corner.